Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stephen Hodel. I'm going into my senior year at Rowan. This is my final video essay. So my topic choice is going to be the website WikiLeaks that we examined a few weeks ago in the course, and all of the ethical and moral issues surrounding it, and why it should be shut down. My specific thesis statement is, as WikiLeaks grows with popularity day after day, I want to take a look at all of the moral and ethical issues surrounding the website and why it needs to be shut down. Alright, so I want to start with a brief description of the website and some general background information. They describe themselves on their About Us part of their webpage as a not-for-profit media organization, which was a bit strange to me because when I think of a media organization, I always think of like Fox, CNN, things like that. But they maintain their identity as that of a news website, not strictly hackers or anything like that. They want to stay professional. The same page, the About Us page, information they have brags about how they have survived and triumphed after being attacked by countless amounts of political and legal actions. And they state that they kind of defend themselves when discussing their company, saying within the first paragraph that everyone has the freedom to post and express their own opinions. They also have an anonymous Dropbox, which they claim is encrypted and completely secure to allow people, anyone in the world, to post documents that they find. So it's not so much that WikiLeaks is actually the hackers, but they encourage hackers to submit their documents to the website specifically, with completely anonymous, remaining completely anonymous. The website began in 2007. It's ran by Julian Assange. The one we saw on Colbert Report on the video we watched a few weeks ago. He's 45 years old, and he's known pretty unanimously as the founder of the website. They believe that they're doing this because they're displaying documents and stories about people throughout the world, and they think that everyone throughout the world should have access to these specific stories and documents. Alright, so now I would like to list my specific points as to why the website wikileaks.org needs to be stopped and shut down. First, they cross a very thin line of what should be viewable by the public. A lot of these documents have no benefit to society, which leads me into my second point, that there is no genuine benefit of letting the public see the documents that were meant to be private. So you could say that, for example, the Apache helicopter video that we viewed from the United States military. Some people could argue that there's a benefit of seeing that and seeing some of the things that are going on in Iraq. But seeing the world, letting the world see it, doesn't mean that they can also let the world decide the outcome for the soldiers. The backlash and outcry and everything that video caused, even after they admitted that they edited it, was, I'm sure, overwhelming for those soldiers to deal with. And I don't believe it's the rest of the world's decision as to their fate. Lastly, my biggest point is that you have to put it into perspective. So everyone seems to be a fan of WikiLeaks because it doesn't really affect them. It's affecting politicians, public figures, things like that. But if you put it into perspective, so would you want somebody to hack into the last 100,000 texts that you've sent in your life, say, from the time you started texting? And you have to think, this could include things you said about your friends, about your spouse or significant other, your colleagues, your coworkers, or even professors at Rowan. WikiLeaks, websites like WikiLeaks, with all the hacks and scandals going on nowadays, has redefined the word private. The word private in itself is becoming non-existent anymore. Things that people are hacking into and viewing were never meant to be seen by the public, and I think we need to maintain some level of respect, no matter who was on the sending and receiving end, that these are private messages, private documents, private videos that weren't meant to be viewed by the public. Next, I would like to talk about some of the specific leaks that WikiLeaks has been a part of. The first one I want to talk about is after 9/11. And like I said, the website didn't start until 2007. Obviously, 9/11 happened in 2001. But after they had started in 2007, they released over 500,000 documents, 500,000 documents in text about surrounding 9/11. And this is everything from pieces of paper to emails sent to text messages sent that day. A ton of the documents were text messages just sent from one wireless user to another. A specific example of one of these texts is a message saying, in quotes, "I'm okay, ... love you, XOXOXO." So there's absolutely no benefit for things like this being released to the public. This text message, although meaningless to us right now, could have been arguably probably like the happiest message that someone ever received in their life, as I'm sure their significant other or dad, someone, mother, father, anyone could have been either very close to the Twin Towers, inside the Twin Towers, and then made it out, and then texted someone in their family or a loved one. And now websites like WikiLeaks are making it public for people to see. Useless, in my opinion. Second, they released documents calling the Church of Scientology stupid and their ideals ridiculous. I don't know much about the Church of Scientology, but I know I definitely wouldn't want anyone mocking my religion and posting about it. So this kind of discredits them as a news outlet, like they like to think they are. And then third, the footage from the Apache helicopter that we saw and I talked about briefly earlier. This, from my research, is heralded as their greatest leak that they've had so far, although they openly admit to editing the video. And negatively portraying the United States soldiers as killers. Just like Stephen Colbert said in the video, the only way to describe war is that war is hell, which was a quote said by William Sherman. The same gentleman also said, in quotes, "If the people raise a great howl against my barbarity and cruelty, I will answer that war is war and not seeking popularity." I think this would speak volumes to our soldiers, and I think that's exactly it. War is war. Things like this happen. I don't think you can argue that our soldiers are killers by any means. I think that the journalists had put themselves in danger simply by walking on the streets with people holding AK-47s. So that was a mistake on their part, although it is terrible that they lost their lives. War is war. So in closing, I just want to reiterate that I think I offered a ton of strong points that WikiLeaks does not have any specific benefit to our society or the world as a whole. It makes it a lot easier for people to gossip about issues that they might not actually have genuine knowledge of. It makes it easier for people to look at emails that were sent years ago, if not decades ago. Look at text messages that were sent after horrible, horrible tragedies. I think it's important for us as citizens, at least in the United States, to accept that we may never know everything that our government does, but we have to understand that it's been that way since the beginning of our country. Their governments are always going to keep secrets from people, maybe for our best interest, and WikiLeaks is ignoring that. I think it's extremely important for us to maintain a certain trust level that they are doing what's in our best interest, whether that's keeping things from their people or not. Okay, so that's all my points. Thank you guys very much for watching.